I don't know what y'all watched, but Bill Maher. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Tyrus goes absolutely nuclear on Bill Maher as he calls him out for being a two-faced coward in this clip from Gutfeld. As Bill Maher is getting attacked and praised for his dinner with Trump, Tyrus isn't buying it and explodes on Bill Maher in this blow-up, calling him out for all the vile things he said about Trump and just drops the axe on him. So let's watch Tyrus go absolutely nuclear and totally obliterate Bill Maher.
Did the unspeakable. He sat down with Trump, talked to him, ate with him, praised him.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What's next? A rom-com starring Rachel Maddow and Jesse Waters? And was Trump gracious and measured?
Trump was gracious and measured, and why he isn't that in other settings, I don't know. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye. None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine.
So how did the media react? As you'd expect. Here's Washington Post columnist Josh Rogan telling Maher to his face that he fell into a trap.
I think you've fallen into the trap. I think I represent 99% of the internet when I say this, is that you've played the game of proximity is principle.
Ah, yes, the old proximity is principle game. That's my favorite game after Stratego and Operation. Anyway, Rogan tried to follow up with some ass kissing, and Maher wasn't having it.
I think a lot of people out there, fans of yours, people who love you, people who are fans of you, like me, I've been fans of you.
You don't have to patronize me, dude. I don't know you. I never met you.
I'm just saying that this comes from
not everybody has to like it. That's what we said. There are people who didn't want it to happen at all. You sound like one of them. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Like, what is the alternative to not talking? Just sit at your lunch table and don't talk to anybody?
I talked to him. I've interviewed Trump.
This was not an interview.
From his perspective, you have to understand that people out there know, all Americans know, that for him, this was a PR stunt. And in his view, you were a prop in that PR stunt.
Okay, so it was a PR stunt? So what if it was? Haven't we gotten used to the presidency as an endless series of PR stunts? Obama and Biden didn't do public relations. And here I thought Trump was a unique threat, unlike any other. Maher and Josh Rogan are proving the point that in many ways, Trump is like other presidents. Except, I don't know any other president who would do this.
I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it. Which he did. With good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened.
So there you have it. Liberals are upset because the world is finding out that Trump is unpredictable and hilarious, but he's also presidential, or what he himself likes to describe as modern presidential. And as Maher admits, he's human. But that's the problem, isn't it? Because according to the Church of Perpetual Outrage, you must never humanize the enemy. And once you realize that almost everything you've been told about Trump is a lie, you start asking yourself questions like, what else have I been misled about? Remember, the media needs Trump to be the boogeyman, the evil, incoherent, wild-haired threat to democracy itself. Because if he's not that, if he's just a guy with a knack for plain speaking and trolling, well, then you can't scare voters with him anymore. But here's the good news. People are tired of the fear factory. Tired of being told who they can talk to, who they can laugh at, who they can share a meal with. It's one of the reasons Trump won.
Folks, I don't know about you, but that last part that he talked about is absolutely spot on, I think. Anything that you do to humanize Donald Trump makes you an enemy like them, because they have to make him polarized. They have to make people scared and afraid of him because they don't want people to actually listen to what he said. Why? Because he ends up winning. And now the game's over and they can't do the same thing anymore. And they're just losing their minds over the idea that Bill Maher, one of the biggest, left-wing pundits, went and met with Donald Trump and found out, like, wow, he's just kind of like a person. But the idea that this was a PR stunt from Donald Trump when seemingly like everyone around him keeps saying the same thing, I'm not buying that. But folks, put down in the comments, do you think this was a PR stunt by Donald Trump or not? I'm not going along with it. I think Bill Maher basically just found out the truth, and now he doesn't know what to do with it. Hit that like button. Let's get back in.
I'm sorry. I don't know what y'all watched, but Bill Maher. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry. This is like someone who talked about black people his whole life and then had dinner with one and said, actually, after I had dinner with them, they're not that bad, guys. No, you don't get to do that, you coward. You went on a show and you tried to play both sides of the street.
That's right.
Why? So maybe he could do your show because the 300,000 people that watch it, if we had those numbers here, I wouldn't be here. These dudes make me laugh. Cowards die 1,000 deaths. You said things about President Trump nonstop. You had no reference point. That's all you proved to me. You sit down with a man, you break bread with a man, then you come and say, well, on this night, he was okay, but don't be mad at me. Splitting hairs, man up. I don't know what this whole thing, everyone keeps acting like they need Bill Maher. The little guy who doesn't lift weights, 99% of the internet, what, MySpace? Come on, this dude represents nobody. A PR stunt for who? I'm sorry, I missed the Oval Office Rose Garden meeting where President Trump was talking about Bill Maher was there.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
He's talking about it. President's not talking about it. He doesn't need Bill Maher. He's got 70% of the country cheering him on. He walked into UFC. The place was crazy.
Then why did he accept dinner with him if he didn't?
Because he's like everybody else.
No, why did Trump?
Because that's who Trump is. He will break bread with anyone. He will sit with Kim Jong-un and break bread. So little punk-ass Bill Maher coming to the house and sitting in the seat. And what did Trump did? He was gracious. He treated him. Everything. He had to leave and come back and go, he wasn't any of the things I said because you were part of the machine. You were part of the thing. He wasn't as bad as Joe and Micah was where he's sharp as a tack, but he led the charge. He continued to say things that weren't true. He supported things without ever bothering to say, hey, you know what? I want to sit down and when I have a problem with someone, if I had a problem with Johnny and me and him had a problem, I'd be like, we need to sit down and talk before I would go out on social media and talk about him. But he needs President Trump.
And I'd say, let me have
needs
a
the
weapon
audience.
first.
Yes. Yeah. Well, but at this point, to coin one of the greatest, funniest phrases in all of comedy, I would ask Bill Maher to step in my office. And he would say, why? Because he's fired.
Folks, personally, I think it's still a good thing that Bill Maher went and had dinner with Donald Trump because of the fallout from it. But I absolutely understand where Tyrus is coming from. Bill Maher has been one of the guys spearheading some of the biggest insults, the biggest talking points, going after Donald Trump in some of the most vile ways for years and years. And I completely get the idea of like, you don't just get to have dinner one time and like, now we're cool. Now everything's okay. Now you're in the center. I completely understand Tyrus's outrage and his profane rant, as you saw, and how he feels about this. I get it. But the thing that I love is that the left is just spiraling out from this. They can't stand the idea of one of those same biggest voices like Bill Maher going and coming back and saying, hey, he was a person. So I completely get both sides of it. Tyrus is outraged, attacking Bill Maher. He deserves it. He absolutely deserves all of the outrage and criticism for everything that he said in the past. Absolutely. Because guess what? All those years, Bill Maher was absolutely wrong. And he's been wrong for years. Absolutely. Just years making a fool out of himself. But now that he's helping to make fools out of the rest of the left, that, in my opinion, is the biggest good that came out of this whole thing. But folks, let me know in the comments, do you agree with me, yes or no, and what you thought about what Tyrus had to say in this explosive nuclear destruction of Bill Maher in this clip from Gutfeld. Thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, take care, and I will see you on the next one.